Hey everybody, it's Zephyr here, back for episode 2 of my book collection. I don't really have a running title yet. I guess that's just going to be it, Zephyr's books. Instead of Zephyr books, Zephyr's books, you know. So, in the last episode, I showed off my collection of cookbooks and various, including one that had recipes and party planning tips in it, so that was very interesting. That I didn't even realize I had. It was just on the shelf. So I literally have pulled everything from like 3 different bookshelves to share with you guys today. So you know, but I mean, I'm one of those people. I love watching like collection videos. I love seeing like what's on people's shelves and seeing what kind of different collectibles and figures and stuff they have. And I've got a lot of figures too that maybe eventually in collectibles. As you can see, like behind me, I've got a lot up here, and I've got more in boxes and on shelves. But again, this being, being an author channel primarily, I had to show off my books. So next we're going into a bit of like self-help and kind of like positivity, mental help books. I'm a big advocate for mental health. I myself have struggled with anxiety and depression and self-esteem issues ever since I was in like middle school, going into high school kind of stuff, which I know is like your basic norm, run-of-the-mill kind of thing. Every kid, what kid doesn't deal with like hormones and stuff around that age? But I mean, I've definitely struggled with my own kind of inner demons, even after school, and even now. It's dealing with like depression and anxiety is something that doesn't get talked about enough and doesn't get brought to the light enough. And I myself tend to try not to talk about it a lot, even with my own issues and my own strugglings. And it's one of those things that society is real bad for brushing it under the table, and even I have been. But in an effort to be honest and be more open with you guys and to help draw attention to it, it's a real thing. Mental health is a real thing that more people should be made aware of, and that is a very real thing. It should be made light of, and people that struggle with that shouldn't be made fun of or put down or judged any differently. They should feel free to come open and talk about their emotions and feelings or strugglings with mental health, and save a lot more lives that way, I think, honestly. And like I said, so that being said, I have collected a pretty growing number of self-help books, even for myself. Now again, not all of these I've gotten a chance to read. Some of these I just got recently in giveaways. I actually got from Goodreads. If you're not on Goodreads, be sure to go on there. They have an app. It's also you can go on it online, goodreads.com. You can keep track of what books you've read, which books you're reading, which books you want to read. You can keep track and follow like your favorite authors. I am on there both as a reader and as an author. So you can go on there and rate books. You can rate them like a 5-star rating scale, I think, and leave reviews. So if you happen to have read Princess and the Squire by Zephyr, be sure to go on there and leave me a rating or review, or even just add me, and you can see what books I'm reading, or what books that I've read or that I want to read or that I'm interested in. But a couple of these I've won in giveaways. They also do free giveaways. Now it's kind of like a drawing thing, like, it'll be from this to there, and they'll be giving away so many copies and however many people. But I try to enter as often as I can. I mean, I enter a lot of them, and I've won a handful of times. And again, a lot of those books, I'll show you the ones that I have won. But if you don't play, you don't win. It's kind of like the lottery, but for books. And I mean, that's a pretty good deal for if you're like me and you love books. So. But I do definitely apply for a lot of the self-help books and mental, because I'm still constantly working, especially now that I have a daughter. I want her to know it's okay to talk about emotions and mental health and stuff. And so I want to be a bigger advocate for that. And in doing that, I want to be open and honest with you guys on this channel, and with my readers and my viewers and stuff. And if you've read Princess and the Squire, I think, a little bit of that shines through there. I try to kind of help, shine a little bit of a light on what that's like inside of that book. And in most of my stories, I usually try to, because you base it on real life, right? A lot of stuff is inspired by the people and experiences I've went through, and personalities that I've known, including my own. And so without further ado, that's a nice little intro, but what we're really here for is the book collection. But I just want to let you know that's why a lot of these books will have a common running theme, And so one of the things that I started doing, which has helped me tremendously with my depression and self-esteem, one thing that I've noticed is some days are better than others. Obviously, for the most part, I can just go throughout a week or go throughout 2 or 3 days and just feel like a normal person, feel like everything's fine. But then you'll just have that one day and there's no explanation for it. It can be sunshine and blue skies, nothing in particular going wrong, but just your brain is your own worst enemy and you just don't feel like being happy at all. And the problem with me is with depression and anxiety and stuff is I was having more of those bad days than good days. I was having very few days where I was like, yeah, I'm okay today. And I was having more days where like, just don't want to be happy today. And a couple years back, I actually made, I started making that my New Year's resolution. I know New Year's resolution is so cliche and so overdone, but I started making that my New Year's resolutions was to work on my mental health a lot more, was to try to really improve the way I saw myself and the way I worked on my mood improvement. And in doing that and looking for ways to do that, I stumbled upon a little thing called Hygge, which is a Danish thing, and I even have the little book of Hygge. Now, I did read this whole thing. It's amazing, honestly. It's Danish Secrets to Happy Living. I believe it's Mike Viking. I may be pronouncing that wrong, and if I am, I'm so sorry. Because it is a really good book. Very well done book. You've got just all these little like tips for like Hygge and Hygge lifestyle, which is all based on cozy and like warm vibes and taking time out of the day to make time for yourself. So like you've got little stuff about like Christmas, the most Hygge time of the year. As you've seen, the other one was about cozy kind of stuff. You've got like different definitions and different ways. They even have like a spot here, some spots where they talk about different recipes, like Hygge type recipes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this one has been a big deal, and trying to live a Hygge lifestyle has been a lot to me. I try to take, even on busy days, busy weeks, I try to take at least one day out of the week, not necessarily a whole day, but even if it's just 30 minutes to an hour out of a day or even out of a week, it makes all the difference, where I take and I'll get me my favorite thing to drink, my favorite kind of snack food or comfort food, put on your favorite blanket or favorite sweater and just sit and read a good book, watch your favorite movie or show, or just sit and listen to your favorite music. I'll put on the record player in there and I get a book. Like I was reading this book and I drink a cup of tea with like a nice Danish, and I would just sit, I would open the window and just sit and look outside on a nice spring day. And actually I read this, and actually all the things I'm telling you I did was actually back during the quarantine, which is a big deal, you know, with the COVID quarantine, the first one we had there that spring of 2020 when it hit and we was all kind of quarantined inside. That was the time frame, like that month, that first month was when I read this book. And I think I read another book then too, but I don't remember what it was. But I finished like 2 or 3 books just doing that. Every day I would take 30 minutes to an hour and just sit and look out the window and just try to restructure, which mental health is huge when you're doing that quarantine thing, because we were all going crazy then. At least I think most of us were. The next one I have is it's actually a picture book, and it is called You Can Do All Things. And it is drawings, affirmations, and mindfulness to help with anxiety and depression by Kate Allen, creator of the latest, Kate, if you'll focus dude, which actually she on her website has a thing where you can sign up for emails and you get a ton of emails from her every day, which is pretty awesome, that are very similar to these. So like it's just real simple little sketches and like colorful pictures she's done with little affirmations. You're worth the effort, you're worth loving, and then you've got some other ones here. It's just these really nice colorful little pictures with little critters and creatures and trees and stuff, and just stuff kind of positivity, just a little daily positivity kind of thing. And like I said, me and my wife both actually signed up for her email newsletter, which sends out, and it'll have like 2 or 3 pictures with the little sayings like every day, and it is just a nice boost of positivity and thoughtfulness and carefulness to look at every day. So Really like this one. I got this on Amazon, I think. Also, the Little Book of Huga I also got on Amazon. I don't remember the prices. I do apologize. Now, the next two are ones that I actually won in the giveaways, the Goodreads giveaways that I was telling you about. So this one is called Already Enough, A Path to Self-Acceptance by Lisa Oliveira. I hope I'm pronouncing all these right. So again, you know, I've not got to read this yet, but it looks really nice. And it's you know, again, it's Path to Self-Acceptance, about getting brave. You've got integrating our stories. You've got consumption versus action. You know, practicing self-compassion. Yeah, so it's just, I'm really excited to read this. I actually just recently got this one in the mail in the giveaway, so I'll be sure to let you guys know. I'll do a little review of that book when I get a chance. And another one I got in a giveaway that's very similar is called Sweet Like Jasmine. It's called Finding Identity in a Culture of Loneliness by Bonnie Gray. Beautiful covers, by the way, on both of these. And again, it's the same thing. This one is more of like a streamlined story, I think actually about the author or about a character that actually has went through and is kind of her own journey. It's kind of a fictional, but it's got like tie-ins to like a non-fiction kind of self-help kind of positivity boost way. Again, not read it, but when I do, I'll be sure to do some book reviews here on the channel. Now this one I think is one that we got from our mother-in-law, and we got a couple from her. She's been real big for helping out with me and my wife on self-help books and a lot of self-guided books and stuff. And this one is called Enemies of the Heart, Breaking Free from the Four Emotions That Control You, Andy Stanley. Again, don't really know much about this one and haven't read it, but it says break free from the destructive power of guilt, anger, greed, and jealousy. So it includes a 6-week discussion guide. So this could be interesting. I'll let you guys know on that one. And the next one is called Boundaries, When to Say Yes, How to Say No to Take Control of Your Life. And it's by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. So that one's interesting. Again, don't know much about it. I think this was another one from our mother-in-law that she gave us. Kind of like self-help and spiritual kind of guidance and growth kind of book. So that one will be interesting. The next couple books, yeah, so this next one is, the next couple are ones that I got that are like actual activity, almost activity-led books. So there's, this one is called Pick Me Up by Adam J. Kurtz, a pep talk for now and later. Focuses. So this one, what the goal is you kind of flip through and it'll have different things. So like different little activity things. So there's special advertising section. You've been selected for an exciting investment opportunity. And it says a blank page can be terrifying, so fill this page in bit by bit whenever you're here. So the idea with this book was, which is what really fascinated me, is basically every time, you know, you're having like one of those bad days like I talk about, you pick it up and you just pick a random page and you'll go to it. So like on this page, so like I just randomly turned to this one. So it says tear a small piece of this page to carry with you. Take a little more next time too. Enjoy feeling connected to the rest of your thoughts in this book. So it's got like the little affirmations here, but then you've got pages like this. So like I would take and tear, I'm not going to do it right now, but you just take and tear a little piece of the page off, which is weird that they did that because you have all this stuff over here, so I don't know why. But either way, you take a little piece of it, and then like the next time, if you land on this page, then you take another little piece. But you may not always land on that page. But they have so many, like, when you come back. So like, yeah, here, for instance, I landed on this page at one point, and it says, home can be a place, a person, or something else. What feels like home right now? And I actually wrote my wife's arms because I'm mushy like that, I guess. But, you know, that to me is a home place. Anytime that, just a nice warm hug. She has the best hugs and just the most warmth and love and that's to me, her is home. And so I wrote now, I wrote her, being in her arms, and then it has later, next time, again, soon. So every time you come back, you can write something different or write the same thing, but it's just something to constantly remind you and kind of do a pickup. And then, like, on the other side, it has affirmations. For instance, it says, of course failure is an option, don't be ridiculous. It's like one of two main options, and also it's going to be fine. And so it's just a nice little self-help pick-me-up little book, and it gets you involved. It puts you in getting involved. And much like that, I also have gotten, and I think that one, the pick-me-up book, was at Five Below. We got the Five Below store, which is also where I got this, which is Everyday Calm, Peaceful Prompts for Tranquil Moments. And this is for like a lot of like journaling and prompting, and it's kind of similar where you've got like these pages where it's the date and time, ask what the weather's like, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, and list 1 thing you can taste. But then at the front they also have, you can set up for like the month, you can calendar and schedule. And then they also have mental habits. They have like where and or when do you feel most at peace, what do you feel most passionate about, like little prompts, little writing prompts. So I really like stuff like that. And in with those, I also have a coloring book here. I like to color. I like the advanced coloring, adult coloring books. They got a little more. I've actually got a couple coloring apps. Coloring, it calms me. I don't know why, but I love Today Is Going to Be Awesome. It's just nice little self-affirmation pictures. Live each day like it's your last. Yeah, I like to color. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a grown child, but it's also relaxing. And again, part of that mental health and improving it and stuff is do what relaxes you. Do what makes you happy. I'm a big advocate of whatever makes you happy, do it. Life's too short, really. And lastly, the last 2 books I have are both for my writing and book stuff here. So I have Right Now, Where Your Story Begins. And again, so this actually, it's got a bunch of blank pages, as you see. But the reason it's got a bunch of blank pages, actually I forgot, let me show you here, is it came with this, almost forgot. So it comes with this. This is actually, it is writing prompts. So take these out. I'll just pick a random one. They're all colored here. So I'll just take a random one. This says they did what? So this says write a story about a character type in a situation you're not used to seeing them in. And this one is the world's deadliest assassin is brought low by a head cold. But what happens when the ailing assassin gets a phone call for a new job? But he's in the middle of a cold. So like, from a writing perspective, one of the best things you can do is constantly, even if you're not writing like your next novel or anything, is writing prompts. And some of these may inspire your next novel. One of these inspired a short story series that I actually ended up working on and expanding on. Which is, so I did this here. I'll show you real quick. You can see all my work there. But yeah, this was, it was one about, they have cards where it's like use random letters. You have to fit all of those words into your writing prompt, and mine, I ended up writing a short story called Vicious Spring, and which turned into the Calvin calendar, inspired me to start working on the Calvin calendar, which is on Kindle. It's on Amazon on the Kindle, the new thing they just came out with, and now I'm going blank on it, and I can't remember what it's called. But it's the one where they let you read episodes, little short episode bites. So if you go to Amazon and you look at the Kindle reads Kindle Vella, I think is what it's called. I think it's the Kindle Vella. And it's, so Calvin calendar, I have that on there. I also have a ghost short story series I started on there. So go check those out if you're interested. And then I also have this that I got, Books a Million, which is 300 writing prompts. And again, it's very much the same. What one issue is most important to you when voting for political candidates? What is the weirdest thing you have ever eaten? Just all kinds of weird, random little, how do you react when someone compliments you? Just little ways to help get the writing juices flowing. And I actually wrote a little bit on here. I've only done the first one, I guess, which is, what is your favorite way to spend a lazy day? And guess what, guys? It's hygge. Hygge and relaxing. It's chilling and doing a little bit of writing work. So that is going to round us up for episode 2, which was self-help and also, I guess, author help books. So the next one I think I want to do is going to be the non-fiction-y type books. And then I think we'll do comics and magazines, and then I think we'll end with fiction, because I think fiction is going to be a 2-parter because I have so many fiction books. So, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys in episode 3 of the Zephyr collection.